Welcome to Footy Kickin Good. We are here with our Gold Coast episode. I've got a group of boys with me on the couch today. Let's start with the admin of the We Miss Daniel Rioli Facebook page, Mr. Christopher Paduano.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And the executive director of the Please Give Us Johnny Noble Back Instagram page,
Yes.
Michael Flynn.
I reckon he was a bigger loss than Daniel Rioli, just quietly.
He's just not coming home, mate.
I just hope he's got that SBF 800 on with the pasty white skin. Sorry, John. That's,
Anyway, we've also got with us big West Coast man helping out. Was first in line for the new Gold Coast away jersey. I hear Mikhail Quinless.
I'm first in line, was I? All right. There you go.
Mick has bad memories of the Gold Coast when West Coast spent a month up there during the COVID year. I'm pretty sure did they win a game? I don't think they won one there.
No, we beat Sydney up there.
Surprised he remembers that.
The Eagles hated that time. I
Are we
remember.
talking about Gold Coast or West Coast?
And it's about time that we change, like the coasters is the Gold Coast.
Yeah, there's a new coast in town.
Yeah.
Hey, enough chat about the Gold Coast.
All right,
Let's talk some West Coast.
Let's go through the ins and outs for the Gold Coast Suns. Look, I call big outs for Sam Day, Lukosius. Lukosius probably the big one for me. Sam Day, I reckon, look, probably not the most important player, a little bit on in age, I guess, but I reckon he was pretty handy when he came in and filled in for when Jed Walter and stuff went down. Kicked a couple of goals. A lot of ins, a lot of young ins. Leo Lombard, big draft pick. Expect big things from him. And, of course, we've also already mentioned Johnny Noble, Daniel Rioli. Padgy, tell us, what are they getting with Daniel Rioli?
Look, Rioli's a very talented playmaker in terms of what he can do. He's got the pace, so when he gets the ball, he can obviously run a little bit to get it out of the back line, and then he's pretty good at spotting up targets. Obviously, that was the big change that we won our premierships with him in the forward line, and then his effort was something that people were getting frustrated with. But he's moved down back. He was basically won all this best and fairest for us, playing in the back line.
And Flinny, with Johnny Noble also coming into the side there, do you think him and Rioli play too similar a role, or do you think they'll coexist?
Yeah, they'll definitely coexist.
Yeah. Well, they'll have to.
You can never have enough really good half-back players. Yeah. And I feel like Noble is capable of playing on the wing as well. Yeah. So Gold Coast's Achilles heel has seemed to be like a lack of good ball use, especially in the back half. And obviously we know Daniel Rioli's pedigree with that, but Noble is like an underrated field kick as well. It just gives them like a bit of energy in the back half. But yeah, I'd like Mick, I'm looking at the ins and outs. I'd like Mick to tell us who Sandy Brock is. Got delisted.
Sandy Brock.
He's Peter Brock's cousin.
Never heard of him.
I've never heard of him. Sorry. Apologies to Sandy and his family.
I don't think you guys might agree with me. Levi Casbolt, I reckon he was a good focal point up forward, especially when they had really younger players up there as well.
He was a good distraction.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of hope, I guess, around Jed Walter, making sure that he has the opportunity to shine down there because he's a big boy. Looks like he's going to be a great player.
I'm big raps on Walter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Lukosius going out? Do you think that's a big hit for the Suns?
Huge.
He hasn't been as good as what I thought he would be.
Where do you think his best position? Because he's played behind the ball. He's played in front of goal. He's kicked 40 in a year.
I mean, he kicked like 40 goals as a forward. Yeah. Like that, they're hard to find guys that can do that.
I think the reason that he kicked 40 goals in a season was because they needed someone to do it. I actually think his best role is playing off half back.
Yeah, I agree.
What does that mean?
No, I'm saying like they in a team that doesn't need him to be a forward, he's not going to be a forward.
Okay. It's an elite kick. I feel like.
So if you said to Levi, can you kick for us 40 goals? He would just be like, no worries.
Yeah, I reckon he will be a big loss. I reckon in a better team in Port Adelaide, Lukosius will be much better.
plus he's from there. Like he's probably more comfortable there.
Yeah, good mates with Connor Rosie, I think, down there. I think he twisted his arm, maybe got him down there.
It's a bit like what Isaac Rankin did with going to Adelaide as well from the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
See how really good he is.
I like how like with the two Adelaide teams and also the WA teams, how like any player that chooses that state, both teams just start going to war. They're just slandering each other. Like
that's why they hate each other, all those showdown kind of teams.
Because it's funny because they've besides was Rory Atkins. I don't think the Crows wanted him back, but I think all the others that went to I think all the ones that went to Adelaide and the ones that went to Port, they were in for, like both clubs were in for all of them.
No, definitely. Anyway, moving on. First topic. All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the Gold Coast have never finished higher than 12th.
I did know that.
Is this the year that they're going to finish it higher than 12th or even possibly make finals?
No.
To be honest, I refuse,
they might finish above 12.
I refuse to say they'll make the finals because I've been burnt before.
Yeah.
Because you can't say they're doing it until they actually do it.
Yeah.
But I think if they're ever going to do it, their list has never been as good as what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they've never had a better coach.
They had an extra year under Dimmer Hardwick as well. So
yeah. I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one. I feel like they've never looked like a top 4 side. And I feel like you almost have to look like a top 4 side to even make the 8 anymore. So that's kind of the holdback for me.
Yeah. There's just so many good sides like around the mark.
That's the thing. You won't be surprised if they don't make the 8, and you won't be surprised if they make the 8 as well.
They need to play 12 games in Darwin a year.
They're good. They're good up at TIO.
They're good up there.
But they had a great home record. I don't know. I feel like teams often can't keep that going in multiple years.
But honestly, their away record was so
dismal. Yeah.
Like the fact that they lost to who'd they lose to? Was it North?
No, they lost to
They did lose to North.
Oh, they beat Essendon. That's right. Yeah.
I think they lost to North at Marvel, and it was just like everyone was like, "Surely this will be the one that can win." You know,
took a Mac Andrew goal after the siren, was it?
That was against
Essendon.
Yeah.
To get them over. Look, jury's out. I feel like I hope for Suns fans' sake that they finish higher than 12th. I think the 8 might be a little bit hard.
And by the way, Geelong's never finished below 12th in their history.
Yeah, I know. They're polar opposites, really.
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah.
That's insane.
You almost need Geelong to fall off and then maybe the Suns will go up.
Geelong's like, damn, we finished 11th this year. Gold Coast like, we should be Sorry, Gold Coast. A lot of apologies this episode.
All right, next topic on hand, and I'm really upset because I don't think you guys got the memo to wear some red for the Gold Coast to represent. Because
I think I got the memo, mate.
Oh, there we go. Got a bit of flack with their Guernsey design. What do you guys think of the all red Gold Coast jersey? Did anybody like it? Because I feel like the consensus is there's a lot of hate for it.
I think they missed the point. Like people didn't like the jumper because it only had a logo. There's no design on it. It's just a red jumper. And like
looks like a training jumper.
Yeah, and then they changed their logo and they just put the new logo in. They need to have something else on there, some sort of design. GWS have a really good jumper.
Yeah, they do.
They've got a lot of good jumpers.
But why don't they have like some sort of like lines through it, you know, like make it
or even
like
have
a pattern or something.
Have the logo in yellow or something. That'd be the only thing.
Or from the bottom further up, make it like there's a sun rising across the bottom. Like just give it a design.
It's funny because sometimes like ideas when you see them on like online and you see a photo, it's like it seems like a cool concept, and then when you see it in reality, you're like, what is that? Like even Freo, their stealth Guernsey that they wore to gather round, it looked cool, and then it was meant to be like black and purple, but then when they wore it on the field, it just looked like they were wearing all black.
Yeah, I feel like you might.
That'll be the same as like Gold Coast are just going to look like, you know,
they're wearing a dark red.
You know, in their defense, if I was going to design a jersey, I kind of would have done something similar, but I would have chosen like a different shade of red. Like a more like crimson. Like they've got like that crimson, that red lifeguard kind of red, and it's just like, I don't know. I've always said like they've got an identity issue, because like if you're a kid and you're in Queensland and want to follow AFL, you got a choice between a Brisbane Lions jersey and a Suns jersey. Like, what are you picking? Yeah, it's probably the Brisbane Lion one.
I feel like they could have just put it into an AI generator. It would have been better than what they got.
And Mickey, what do you think about the away jersey? Because they got they're rocking the West Coast colours.
Are they? Yeah. I know they brought out the one. I think they are going to use one for the gather round. It's like a Miami Vice looking one.
Yeah.
Black and pink.
Yeah, it actually looks decent.
Yeah.
But the other one I haven't seen.
I think what they need to do is get a partnership with the NBA team, the Phoenix Suns, and just steal their jerseys.
Yeah.
Because they got a good colour scheme, the orange and purple.
Purple's a good colour. I don't know why everyone's missing it.
Freo might be a bit disappointed. There might be a bit of a Eddie Maguire Koshi dispute going.
All right, moving on. So there's a lot of young talent on this team. They've had a lot of academy high draft picks in the last couple of years. So I was just wondering, who do you guys think is going to be, who has the brightest future, I guess? You know, guys like Jed Walter and Jake Rogers, Leo Lombard, Will Graham.
I'm going Walter.
Walter?
To have the brightest future.
Is that because that's your dog's name?
You're an idiot. No, I reckon he's got like that real like Jonathan Brown vibes.
I agree. He came in real big bodied. And unfortunately broke his collarbone heading into the season.
Yeah.
So a bit interrupted, but he's got all the makings of it. And I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel, but I've never felt like Ben King has been the number one guy. Like, he's not a number one forward for me. I know he kicked 50.
But he's huge.
Yeah.
50 is a good result.
Yeah, it's a great result, but I just feel like if he was a second fiddle, we would.
Yeah, I reckon Ben King would
can't
thrive.
have a guy that's 200 and something centimetres be the second fiddle. What's he going to do? Play?
Paul Salmon was for a bit.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Mate, you get with the times.
What about Scott Lucas? Like, there were some big boys that have been.
Was
second
Jed
fiddle.
Walter? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he a Gold Coast fan growing up?
Well, he was in the academy. So he always knew he was going there.
Yeah.
He was a fan of them as of when they didn't exist.
I'm a massive rap for Will Graham. Yeah. I think he will take another step. I think he's one of those guys that, I mean, we both when we're trying to take specky picks in our fantasy league, a lot of the time, you know, it's about seeing them hit a really high total of something, a stat early on, and then you know that they have that ability. He's a guy that's laid crap loads of tackles.
He's a tackle monster.
Yeah, he looks
What
like.
about Closey? Is that his name?
Yeah, Closey.
Closey, sorry. Yeah. He's impressed me as well.
Yeah,
and he's a mature age from, I think, what Feld club is it? The premiers a couple of years ago. I can't remember. Is it Williamstown? No.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Werribee, sorry.
Yeah,
he's impressed me. But Leo Lombard, the guy you mentioned before, I think he's going to be a Jet.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the race for the Rising Star.
Yeah, Leo Lombard and Jake Rogers were two for me. I just think they're both Jets, but at the same time, their midfield stocks are just so high. Like, how do you take Miller, Rowell, or Anderson's spot,
can't.
really? Yeah,
They've got so many coming through as well. Like, I think it was like last year, I think the under-16s for the... what's the team they have up there? Is it the Allies? No.
Yeah.
Or do they have their own? Do they have their own under-18 team? Whatever
I
it
can't keep
was,
track,
a huge amount of them were Gold Coast Academy players. So it's just like, you know, they're going to be having top talent for the next like 5 years.
And you know they've also got that chemistry as well. Heading into the team.
Well, that's the thing together. Is like last year I felt that way with like when a lot of these guys debuted, they were showing they were like their mums are best friends.
Yeah.
Like they showed a couple because it's like they've been taking them to training since they were like young kids.
So, and a lot of these boys, like, I hear stories about, like, a lot of guys know, like, these guys are getting drafted when they're 10, 11 years old. Course. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is why the clubs got pissed off about the rules around the next gen academies.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Jesse Motlop. I think he was on Freo's academy.
Yeah.
And they put like heaps of work into him since he was like a youngster, and then Carlton pick him, and they don't have access. So and
that was a real blight because they took the NGA rules away for like a year or two there.
Yeah.
And same with Andrew. Should have been a Melbourne.
Yeah, should have been a Melbourne player.
So
and his brother's gone to Sydney.
Yeah, well Melbourne didn't match the bid for him. Yeah. So So they're both up there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just goes to show how it works. Moving on to the individual accolades. Do you think anyone's in line for a Brownlow? Matt Rowell scored really well, polled really well in the Brownlow, but I feel like there's so much talent there that all
people have flown past Rowell at this point at the club. Yeah, I don't think he's there. I don't think he's the first fiddle anymore.
Yeah, I think Noah Anderson.
Yeah, I think Anderson's got more more X factor through the midfield.
Yeah.
Like the funny thing is, if you remember when Real got all those votes in his first 3 games, it was kicking goals and things like that.
Yeah.
He's never done any of that ever
Yeah.
since. He's just tackling. He just tackles now.
I love Real, don't get me wrong. He is the best at what he does, but he's too big. Yeah. Like I think he might have slimmed down a little bit, but he looks like he lost his ability to move from contest to contest. He couldn't get to enough contests.
Yeah.
Anderson is just a beast runner. Like he just is everywhere. So is Took Miller. You just see them running up and down the ground.
Yeah, and obviously a bit of rumours of some Victorian sides reaching out to Rail, so an interesting watch.
Watch Geelong get him.
Geelong.
For some reason.
Apparently Essendon and Collingwood have had chats with them as well.
Come to Collingwood.
But Gold Coast did an interesting move. So they've got one of the ins we missed was Ben Jepson.
Yeah.
So he played school footy with Raul Anderson and Nick Dacos. So there was a photo of the 4 of them, and there was only one missing now from the Suns. So maybe a play for Nick Dacos, get him up on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, they'll need.
Flynn will lose his mind.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What about the Coleman? Anybody in line for the Coleman at the Gold Coast?
You'll just have to go Ben King, don't you?
Ben King, yeah.
Yeah,
50 goals going off.
I mean, he's the only one that's got a chance.
How many goals, like, let's say Jed Walter plays every game, how many goals do you think he's capable of kicking?
30.
30?
Who, Ben King?
No,
Jed Walter.
Oh, Jed Walter.
He plays every game.
Yeah.
Probably, 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anything over 35 would be massive.
Oh, it's a big win.
Yeah, for a second year forward.
All Australians. Who we got?
I've got Sam Collins in the back line.
Sam Collins,
he's
yeah.
always.
And even a surprise AA for me is Mac Andrew.
Mac Andrew, that's a good shout.
What part of the field though? Back or forward?
Back line.
Yeah.
You think he was really good
bench.
forward? He was really good forward last year.
I have a surprise All Australian as well in Bodie Hewland,
Oh, okay.
who finished second in their best and fairest last year. So went really under the radar.
Yeah.
Apparently his brother's an absolute freak.
Yeah,
He's
so-
another guy that going to the Gold Coast through the academy.
Yeah.
But when we played them last year, I think Hewland might have played on Elliott.
Yeah.
One of those. He literally won every one-on-one. Like he's just a beast one-on-one. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Had some standout performances last year for sure.
Yeah.
I think I've already mentioned this guy now, maybe our first episode, but the Sam Flanders, I feel like, was stiff to miss the 40. So I really want to see him inside. He actually really went under the radar, but he's a dominant player now. I feel like I put him in the same bracket as like Rory Laird, where statistically...
I'll tell you who Flanders is.
Yeah.
Sinclair from St Kilda.
Oh, okay.
Same player.
I'm curious as to whether he gets some more midfield minutes or whether he keeps coming off the halfback.
Well, halfback, he gets 40-odd touches. It's pretty easy playing back there.
Good fantasy guy as well.
Yeah.
Guys, player to break out on underrated star on the Suns.
I think we've covered a lot of them.
Was that? Yeah. I think Mac Andrew can take his game to the next level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think he's ready. And I'm waiting to see what Bailey Humphrey does because I feel like he's been devoid of midfield minutes.
He got dropped last year a few times.
Yeah, he's been devoid of midfield minutes, and I just think he's got to learn how to play like well off that half forward and become that like Ben Keys kind of a player because he's got great goal sense.
He does. I think he almost looked like he was going to get stuck as a small forward for a little bit, but he's better than that. He's definitely got more ability than that. So
no, definitely.
Yeah, I think we've gone through a lot of them in terms of going to the next level. Maybe Jake Rogers just as an inside mid if he gets a little bit more time, but it's hard midfield to crack into. Isn't it?
Very hard.
Even Ned Moyle's still there, right?
Yeah.
He'd be another one that I'd be looking at as Witts would have to be over 30 now.
Witts seems to be missing a handful of games every year, so he's starting to get a bit older.
Apparently, they've got a backup ruckman, Gold Coast. He's like meant to be
Ethan Reid.
He's meant to be like the greatest.
He's very he can play like a midfield, like he's very agile at his feet. Like I think he copped an injury last year or something like that, but he was kept out of the action.
He was a guy that in his under 18 year, I think he was finished in the top 3 in the 2K time trial.
That's right.
He's over 200 centimetres.
Yeah,
so
that's
pretty
quite freaky. So he could even play a different position, whether they get him forward or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that wraps up our Suns episode. Thank you, boys, for joining in. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Thanks for watching, guys.